Hi, I'm Tisha,
I'm Lauren.
and this is the OpenBooked podcast. Today, we're going to go over the ACOTAR series again, just kind of a quick overview, and then talk about what kind of fan theories we have, fan cast. We kind of already discussed in the last one. And then maybe what we hope to see in the next book, or I think she signed a 4-book contract. I don't know if that's all for ACOTAR or if some of it's for Crescent City, for Throne of Glass.
I think Throne of Glass is complete, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into any of that, so I don't know.
Guess we'll see.
What kind of plans do you have for the 4th coming up?
I don't know. I feel like we usually go with you guys to that Bentonville.
Oh yeah, the
Orchard Park.
Yeah, Orchard Park or Memorial Park. One of them.
Yeah.
By the Amazium and Crystal Bridges. It's usually a big thing. I don't know that they'll have it though this year. I haven't even checked because they had a bunch of damage in downtown Bentonville from the tornado, but they also have all of that construction going on for Walmart home office, which the buildings look really nice.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool, I think.
It's blocked off a ton of everything downtown, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But we'll probably go float either the day after or like the Saturday after, I think. Who knows? This year has been weird. I don't feel like holidays are quite the same this year.
I agree. I feel like it's just imposter syndrome. Is that a thing? Or you're just like, well, I don't even have any plans. I usually plan stuff out.
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Like months in advance.
Yeah.
I usually have stuff laid out. And I don't think I even have any concerts in July either.
We don't have any until August. You have Lainey,
and then Lauren Daigle.
I'm really jelly about Lainey. I didn't get tickets in time.
We'll see if we can find some on
Facebook,
I'm sure.
I'm also going to Morgan Wallen in August in Kansas City.
Yeah. I'm kind of jelly for that, but
the first weekend.
So
yeah, you've seen him twice. I've seen him once.
Yeah.
Supposed to go with you last year, but man, we're always hustling at these markets. Missed a lot of stuff last year, and this year we decided we're gonna try not to miss markets, but we're gonna try not to miss life too, because it definitely has taken over. Being a small business owner is great, but it's also very challenging. It's exhausting. Never a day off, but hey, thankful to have a growing small business that's my problem. Not that I'm begging for, traction. It's just now I enjoy some free time every now and then. Yeah. But ready to dive in?
I think so. Yeah.
So the plan today, really, if you haven't read any of the ACOTAR, I say all of the ACOTAR. I'm not going to say any. All of them. Come back later. We have some theories that we've seen on TikTok, our thoughts on those, along with kind of questions and chatting about what we want to see in the next book, which we have been... I've heard that it's Elaine's. SJM has very clearly said ACOTAR is about the Archeron sisters.
Yeah.
So I would be shocked if it wasn't Elaine in the next book. So, that being said, who do you think Elaine ends up with?
It's so hard because I know Lucian is her mate, but in Silver Flames we kind of saw a little budding relationship with Azriel and seeing how much he cares for her, and he's finally let go of his other relationship a little bit, so he's open to new things, and he's such a good guy. I think he deserves to be happy. And I think Lucian's kind of said the same thing, that Rhys-Ann said, like, if she doesn't want to be with me, like, yes, we're mated, but if she doesn't want me, then I have to let her go. Like, I have enough, capability and love in my heart that I can do that for her to make her happy. So
yeah, I think Rhys-Ann was prepared to do that with Feyre when she was engaged to Tamlin.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if Lucian's the same way.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's don't have enough information. I feel like it's just thing that's going on in the background. Hasn't been the main topic, which I expect it to be the main topic next book.
Yeah.
But I agree. I feel like a mating bond is really hard. I mean, if you even think about them talking about Feyre and Rhys. She was like a child painting stars. Like, she knew subconsciously, she knew somehow she was going to be in the Night Court. And I just think Elaine's always been Flower. So I was like, is she going to end up with Lucian? Is she going to end up with Azriel, who obviously is holding the torch for her? Or Tamlin? I mean, she's like a flower girly, and Tamlin is the High Lord of the Spring Court. There's flowers everywhere. They describe it. And I just think that they worked on redeeming Tamlin. So it would make sense if they made him get a love interest. I don't think he'll ever get a book.
No.
But I think it would make sense if they did. But it could just mean Lucian's going to go home.
Yeah. Okay.
And she is going to be with Lucian and go with him. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how she's going to play it, because it's kind of been set up to be Lucian or Azriel in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, but, I mean, knowing how SJM loves to twist things and make things happen that nobody ever expected, I could see it being Tamlin or someone entirely different that nobody was expecting. So it'll be exciting to see in the next one.
Yeah, or to see somebody come along and Azriel mate.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone deserves it, it's him.
Oh, for sure.
Genuinely. So it will be... I'm very excited to see how that plays out. It will be a surprise, I am sure. But also in the next book, the betrayal. I don't know how true this is, but I have heard SJM has said that there will be a big betrayal in the next book.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who do you think it is? I think we agree.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with the theory that it's the Morrigan.
Yeah.
The TikTok I saw that kind of explained it in threes. There are 3 separate incidences where something major has happened and Mor was nowhere to be found. And just conveniently shows up shortly after, and she's like, "Oh, what happened? How can I help? Like, what? What's going on?" So, and there's a lot of symbolism around threes. There are 3 brothers, 3 sisters. There's even the mountains.
Yeah. Yeah, the 3 in the Night Court, like, insignia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the kind of major incidences. There's a lot of stuff happening around that, and just kind of the lingering deception, I think, around the Mor. I fully believe it's going to be Mor that is the just the all-around bad guy that nobody really expected, but I think we're going to find out that there's a lot more that she did than anyone even knew about, and it's going to be kind of disappointing to see, I think.
Yeah.
That character betrayal.
Yeah, I am leaning towards Morgan as well. And I agree with a lot of the threes and her just being, like, conveniently not there.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is, for it to be a betrayal, it has to be someone that's been in the circle for a long time that you wouldn't expect. So my initial thought was Lucian.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, nah, he's new. They barely trust him. It wouldn't really be considered, like, a huge betrayal at that point, I don't think. Same with Nesta.
Yeah.
Like, or Elaine. Elaine would be a shock, though. If they really wanted to do a twist, what if Elaine has the seer ability and ends up betraying? I think that would be good, actually.
Yeah.
Sweet little innocent Elaine, no one would suspect. I think Moore and Elaine are probably the ones I would bet on because I don't think either are expected.
Yeah.
I mean, Book Talk has gone behind the Morgan train. Hey, I trust Book Talk. They are much smarter than I and find all sorts of little nuggets in there.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, Elaine would be the big shocker. I think Moore and Eris might be a little closer than we think.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
I could see them have made up and are hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we talked about this drunk at the concert. I think that Cassian, after all these years, was talking to Eris at the end of Silver Flames and was like, why did you leave her? It's the lingering question that everyone wants to know. He didn't add to it. We know now that Eris isn't, like, a total bad dude. I'm putting him in the same category as Lucian. Like, guilty by association, but didn't do anything. So he's still a piece of shit. But, like, everyone wants to know why. And he said that he didn't. There was one person that he owed that explanation to, and it wasn't him. So we know he's talking about Moore. And he said, the Morrigan. We talked about this specific. He always had called her Moore. Yeah. Looking good Moore, and his little shiesty comments. But he said the Morrigan, which is the first time we have heard him refer to her in that way. Yeah. So I think that may have some sort of significance.
Yeah. Knowing the way authors do that, it has to have some sort of significance.
Yeah, and if it was them two in cahoots, like, what if they actually were, like, what if this whole female thing is to get Azriel off of her? And what if she really was with Eris? Something to think about. Yeah, that'd be she obviously does like males, too. I think she prefers females. But, I mean, she was supposed to marry Eris. It's a thought.
It's a lot to think about.
It's a thought. It could be totally off base, but that's what theories are for. Okay, so what all do we want to see in the next book? Obviously, Elaine end up with who she's going to end up with. Some sort of closure there.
And if it's not Azriel that she ends up with, I want to see, like, where he's going to go. How that's going to play out for him.
Yeah. Azriel deserves happiness.
Yeah, so even if it's not in the next book, I think if it's not Azriel that she ends up with, then he does need kind of his own storyline that explains where he ends up. Or who he ends up with. I think that'd be a hard relationship, though, being shadows.
Yeah. A spot, yeah. Like, I would almost feel like you would need to be with someone who does it, too.
Yeah.
So you guys could, like, travel together?
Yeah. Be co-spies.
Or, I mean, he's Reese's most trusted person. Maybe they add someone else in, like, who was a spy for Tamlin, like Lucian, and let Azriel step into, like, a different type of role, and Lucian can use his fox mask, and I mean, he proved to be
trustworthy
and do well with that in Silver Flames.
Yeah.
And also, it seems like he's got himself a little, or not in Silver Flames, that was in ACOTAR. So it also seems like he's got himself a little group, misfits. His little, what are they calling themselves? I don't remember, but they got a little group with Jurian and
the island of like misfit.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just like misfits.
It's fitting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that could be an interesting concept as well. Maybe Lucian stepping into a more of a court type role. I don't know. We'd have to see what that would look like.
Yeah.
Also curious what Nesta's power looks like post transaction is what I'm going to say with the cauldron.
Yeah.
She had to give it back, right? But
with the mother, let her keep just a little bit.
Yeah, so she's like buddies with the mother now. So like, how powerful is the mother? They barely even talked about her throughout this whole series. So I'm interested to see that maybe develop.
Yeah.
See what her powers could be. Obviously, she's not going to be like wielding all three of the Dread Trove.
All the time.
Another point, who winnowed off all of the Dread Trove? More. So she's going to be the betrayer.
Yeah. Where'd she actually take it?
Does anyone know? I mean, I'm sure Reese told her where to go.
Or
I would think. Or he just told her to hide them.
To hide it so that no one knew. Except for her, which is sketch. Very, very sketchy.
It's giving sus. It's adding to the hypothesis.
Yeah.
So, that's a thought. I don't know, maybe Nesta's just normal fae. By normal fae, I mean not like High Lord abilities or anything special, just an ordinary fae. Maybe that's fine. Maybe she's this badass leader of the Valkyrie, which we kind of think she is, but it depends on like what power she wields after this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And what happens to the swords that she made?
Yeah. I think they gave Eris one, but then they took it back when he got nabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eris getting himself kidnapped.
Dummy.
All part of the plan.
Yeah.
But we have to remember, Coast J is still in play, right? We only killed Brie Allen. So, going into this next book, we can say it's safe to assume that the person who has cursed that human queen, what's her, Firebird? Vasa, but what's her, is she like a bird?
Yeah, Firebird.
Yeah.
Is what they call it. Phoenix.
Yeah, something like that. That's still our bad guy. So, we can assume the conflict, because fantasy, there's going to be conflict.
Always.
Is going to be with this Coast J person. I would say.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, he was the one working with the old queen. And they just killed the old queen. But then we have to worry about the Autumn Court. Because Daddy Ginger is still alive.
Yeah.
And he needs to... Honestly, I would like them to just chop his head off and then make Eris. Because Eris obviously works with them. He may be like a dick, but he's reasonable. And I think his end goal is the same. And I think they could work better than Daddy Ginger. That's what I'm going to call him.
For sure.
So.
I think it would be more in alignment with their goals.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Be interesting to see how that goes. And then what are we expecting to see out of Elaine's power? I personally, I think we've talked about this, would like to see some more of the seer abilities. What other abilities she might have, like her step into her own as Fae, because I don't think she has until this point. I still think she's very uncomfortable, and she's just like started cooking in the kitchen and working in the garden, like being a housewife, which is great, but I would love to see, like, if that's what she is, that's great, like, cool. I would like to just see her more, like, settled, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Into her own.
Yeah, find her purpose, kind of, like what she's gonna do moving forward.
Yeah, and if that is to cook and do the things they have servants for, great. if that's what brings her peace and makes her have some sense of normalcy after all they've been through. But we haven't seen much of Elaine. So definitely lots of questions around that.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll get answered in the next book. I don't really think we even have a time frame.
I thought I saw something about December, but that could be way off.
Yeah. I'm going to look it up. Because she just did a Crescent City, like, a few months ago. So, I mean...
Let's just talk about the fact that she's able to do all of these different, like, worlds and write and release them, like, interchangeably. Like...
Yes. It's insane. Having read Crescent City at this point, I spent so many times while I was reading, Googling how this relates to ACOTAR. So if any of you know very well, have like a clear map, but right now what I picture is that guy with all of the pictures on the board and the red string. That's what's going on in my head right now, and I really need some clarity.
Yeah.
So if anyone is like an expert in the SJM universe, maybe we need to have you on or like talk to you a little bit, because I still kind of feel lost as far as the time goes. Cell phones, like more modern versus ACOTAR's very not. It's still very much medieval. Is the word I'm going to use.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and they're saying 2025 or 2026 for the next ACOTAR.
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either. But also don't want to rush it so that it's not good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. We shall wait patiently.
Yeah.
Or not so patiently.
Yeah, very impatiently. I'm not a patient person.
Very impatiently for the next one to hopefully wrap this up for us. I don't know. There may be more after that. So we'll see. Do Feyre and Rhys have more kids? Do Cassian and Nesta have kids? Who does Mor end up with? There's so many loose ends, is what I'm going to say. Loose ends. So.
Lots of layers. So, question is, with the new one, are you going to buy a whole new set?
Absolutely I am. It's beautiful and it's a box, but you can't add on to it. I'll probably get the special edition ones. I don't know if you've seen them, where the inside is like painted like the Three Mountains.
Oh.
People I'm going to wait till it's done.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's a problem. I haven't even read these. Tisha has.
Yeah, I read
these 3.
At least parts of 3 of them. Maybe 4?
I listened every time.
Yeah, I listened to all of them. I listened and read the last one. Or the last 2 or 3. I don't know. But yeah, somehow I was able to absorb more details listening and reading either together, or like I'd read a little bit and then I'd go back and listen to the same thing, and I'm like, oh, I missed that, reading it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely want to do a reread eventually, or just listen to all of them quickly before the next one comes out for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So I can catch more of the details, because like I said, I fell asleep a lot in the first one, maybe even a little bit more in the second one, so I missed a lot of stuff, because I try to rewind, but I didn't know how far back I was, so I'm like,
yeah,
okay, we'll just keep going.
I feel like my second reread, I picked up more on details, which I feel like this is the same with any book. Like your first one, especially fantasy, you're just trying to figure everything out. And then you go back and you pick up so much more. Like even watching a TV show, like Game of Thrones, for example. Probably watched it 10 times through. And I could watch it the 11th time and pick something up that I missed. And I think Game of Thrones is a great example of very high fantasy. So many moving pieces, maybe even more like families and such than ACOTAR. So I have the books for those as well. Maybe need to add them to my TBR. But yeah, I just feel like the more you go through it, the more you pick up. And hopefully catch some foreshadowing. Because I feel like when things happen, I remember things, and I'm like, oh, that was foreshadowing. I just missed it. Or I didn't catch it at the time. Yeah. Especially in thrillers.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, shit, I should have figured that out. But I didn't.
I missed that entirely.
Yeah. Yeah. So any other notes, theories, or things you want to see?
Not really. What do you think was your favorite, like, one-liner or just, like, moment from the whole of the series?
I'm going to exclude chapter 55 of Mist and Fury. Yeah. I'm going to say when Feyre beat the worm and she took the bone and threw it at Amarantha. I was like, hell yeah! Great moment.
Yeah.
What about you?
I was secretly cheering in that moment too. I think my favorite, like, one-liner, it wasn't, like, romantic or anything, but when Lucian was talking to Feyre, and he's like, I hadn't realized I was a villain in your narrative. Like, it was kind of a eye-opening moment for everybody, just realizing, like, oh, like, I mean, I never intended to be, I never meant to be, obviously, a bad person toward you, but obviously I could have done more. I could have saved you, essentially, from all of that kind of chaos, being locked up, and that was a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
Realizing that he was kind of a villain to her.
Yeah.
It was sad.
For sure. No, that's a great line. That's like when he figured out, I need to change.
Yeah. I'm on the wrong team.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think I texted you this when I first started Crescent City. The similarities in writing, like a few things SJM always says. One of them is smiling without reaching the eyes.
Yeah.
Smile that didn't reach eyes. That's said a lot. What was some of the other ones? Do you remember? I was cracking myself up coming up with these. Pretty proud of it, and now I can't even remember. But there's a few in Crescent City like that. Like I said, they go across to ACOTAR. But one that I find really funny that she says is instead of asshole, she calls the guy alpha hole.
Oh, that's funny.
Because they're like doing the alpha male thing.
I can't find it.
Yeah,
we text a lot, so
yeah, we do.
It's way back there. We'd have to find a way to highlight it, maybe. That's something, Apple, you need to work on.
Yeah, highlighting.
Being able to highlight a text message so that we can just jump back to it.
Oh, here it is. I don't know if I want to say one of them. Okay. Sarah J. Maas favorites. This is what I texted her.
Oh, yeah.
Picking invisible lint. Is that not? It's a thing. They even have Cassian doing it in Silver Flames. Okay. Smiles that don't reach eyes. Saying busybody. Calling people a busybody. I'm going to skip the last one because I know that I have family members that listen to this. But you guys probably know which one I'm talking about then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anyways. I thought that was a fun little snippet.
So what are we going to talk about next time?
Next time, we have a few topics. Yeah, we're finally through the ACOTAR. Maybe we could do the Matt Haig.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that, because I actually am going to read one of his books. The Radleys.
I'll read it before so we can discuss.
Yeah.
The Midnight Library, the Humans, and the Radleys.
Yeah. It looks like one of the reviews says a British vampire novel about vampires trying to raise their kids without letting on that they're vampires.
Oh, sounds fun.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. Vampires, I'm in.
Yeah. So,
okay, yeah. We'll discuss Matt Haig next.
Yeah, and see if he's from another planet, because I am fully convinced that he is like either a time traveler or an alien. Yeah. Or maybe now a vampire, because he just has a way of telling stories that are like...
Had to been there.
Yeah, like beyond any other thought or knowledge.
Yeah. Or he does drugs and has a lot of those like trip experiences.
Yeah.
Great writing though. So we're getting good content.
Yeah. Thanks
whatever you're doing.
Matt Haig.
Whatever you're doing.
Shout out.
Shout out.
To whatever illicit drugs you're trying.
From another planet? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe they got stuff we don't hear. I don't know. But yeah, we'll chat about that on the next one.
All right. Well, it's been fun chatting about ACOTAR, and I'm sure we will revisit when the next one comes out. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials. OpenBooked on YouTube, Instagram. I almost said LinkedIn. We don't have LinkedIn.
If we do not have LinkedIn.
That's odd, I think, for a podcast. Yeah. Facebook and TikTok. I think I didn't say that one already, but yes, OpenBooked on all the socials, and be sure to subscribe. We put out new episodes every week. And if you have any recommendations for stuff we can talk about in the future, be sure to leave a comment with that. And I guess we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. See y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.